day, good people. It is Stephanie, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new, thanks for stopping by. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. Today, in this video, I will be sharing with you all of the items I picked up on my most recent vacation that I took to Paris and London with my family. So the video will probably be a little more chattier than usual, but I will try to get through it as fast as I can and not hold you long. The reason why it will probably be chatty is because I'm looking at these items and I'm trying to remember and figure out where to start and where I got what from. I will move Louise out of the way because you know where that comes from, and we'll save her for last. Um, so yeah, went on vacation with my family. We visited Paris, and we took a few days over. We went for a few days over to London by train, which was a fun experience. So yeah, let's start with London. That'll be easier. So while in London, I have two older nieces. I have three in all, and all of them love to shop. But those two older ones, whew, they can get you every time. Anyway, I am a little chilly. That's why I have on a full-blown sweatshirt in June. But anyway, I digress. In London, I went to Choosing Keeping. I had always heard that if you had the chance to stop by this stationery store while in London, you should. And so I had the opportunity and I did. Yes, I'm tearing the poor little dove. So the shop was very cute. It wasn't huge. You know how most stationery stores aren't anyway. It wasn't huge, but it was very, very cute. And while I was in there, I saw lots of treasures and lots of things that I was attracted to and could have bought. So I decided to just stay focused and only look for items that I could not get any other place but there, based on what I think or what I know. Um, so I went for items that actually said choosing keeping, like these two um, little notebooks. It's just a lined notebook. I thought it was cute. It says choosing keeping on it. And then I picked up another notebook, looks to be a B6 size. It says choosing keeping on it as well. It is also lined, but I really liked the feel of this notebook. It's a very, very smooth, silky feeling. And of course, I went for the green one. They had different colors, but in each one, it was a different type. They did not have my squared grid. You guys know I'm a grid girl. So that wasn't an option. So I went with this lined, again, very smooth paper. I also saw this little embossed, I'm not sure what they call it. I think it's like a mini card. I'm not going to write in it or send it to anybody. I just grabbed it because it's the Y for my last name. They did not have an S. So I picked that up. And then I just picked up this postcard. Again, I'm not going to mail it out to anyone. I just liked the images on it. So these are the things I picked up at Choosing Keeping. While I was there, they had an ink section that I was interested in as well. And none of the inks there were new to me per se or that I hadn't seen before, except for this line here that I ended up picking up. When I asked the lady who was helping me what these inks were called, she simply said British inks. Now, I don't know if that's British inks because we happen to be in London, I don't know if British Inks is actually a brand that we can order from. If you guys know any different than me, please let me know. But I thought that was cute that I was in England. So I picked up two British inks. And that's again what the lady called them. I picked up their forest green color and I picked up their gray color. I do want to swatch those for you. And I guess I'll do that now. And that way I can move on from there. I grabbed my ink journal so that I could document it right here in these pages real quick. And again, she simply called these British inks. And I hadn't done any further research on them yet, so that's my fault. Um, and I will, but let's swatch these for you. They survived the flight. You see that they were in this cute bubble wrap. Excuse me, in this cute bubble wrap. And then I secured them further before packing them in my luggage. Okay, so this one is called Forest Green. It looks to be a little turquoisey. I know that's not a word. Plus, I jacked it up. And see, I always get turquoise and teal mixed up. Is turquoise the one with green in it and teal's the one with blue in it? This is the one with green in it. But let me know in the comments which is which because I do always get those mixed up. They called this one Forest Green. And then the second color we'll look at real quick is simply called Gray. And you guys know I'm a gray sucker for ink, about as bad as I am with brown. Gray's a real close second. I love a good gray ink. Okay, and this one again is simply called Gray. So that's what these two look like. Also in the store, mind you, I did select these colors from their swatch samples. They had a very pretty red maroonish ox bloody type color, but she went down into the cellar and they were sold out. So I said to myself I was only going to get two. So these are the two I ended up with. I think they are pretty. Hope you guys have been in frame. I've set my camera up different today, so I'm hoping that I'm in frame. But that is what these two British inks look like. So I'll move that out of the way. Again, these items were from Choosing Keeping. Very, very cute store. Okay, next thing I wanted to share was we went to the Louvre because who's going to go all the way to Paris and not go to the Louvre? And at the end of our tour, which was a very, very nice tour, I appreciated our tour guide. She hit the highlights, in my opinion, of the museum. There was no way, of course, we would ever be able to see all of the Louvre in one day. So I can appreciate the highlights that she focused on. But at the end of the tour, I picked up a couple of goodies at the gift shop, of course. I thought that this nope, this is still London. My bad. See, I knew I was going to mess up something. These I slid into the bag, I guess, to keep them straight. So this is a postcard of the famous phone booths being knocked over, and then the famous Tower Bridge, which a lot of people seem to think is the London Bridge from that song London Bridge is Falling Down. But no, this is the Tower Bridge. And funny enough, the London Bridge just looks like a normal everyday bridge. And if you didn't know that was the London Bridge, you wouldn't know. Thus, people think this is London Bridge, but this is Tower Bridge. Anyway, I'll go back to my goodies. So after the Louvre, I picked up a few items at one of their gift shops. This, of course, is the Mona Lisa. And this is the statue that I found to be my most favorite of the whole tour. This statue, you guys, is called Nike. And yes, I said Nike. And the short story of this is once the pieces of this statue were gathered and it was recreated and put back together, only this left wing was found in the destruction of everything. The right wing, which you don't really see at all in this postcard, was recreated, but this is the one that was found. Anyway, Nike is where the brand Nike that we know of, this was their inspiration, and this wing was the inspiration for the check on the shoe. And I thought that was very interesting. So when I saw this, I picked it up. I also picked up just a pretty bookmark with some flowers. And then I also picked up a sticker, again, of another famous statue. I don't remember her name. Y'all are going to get me. I promise I paid attention though. I'll put it in the description. And then lastly, I picked up this beautiful notebook. It is dot grid, and I just loved the portrait of this as well. And so these are the things I picked up at the Louvre. So then, of course, we went throughout the city a couple of days here and there, like I said, with nieces and shopping, and went to Zara and I picked up a couple of pieces there and that type of thing. But these are my stationery finds. Um, I picked up some ephemera once we were out and eating and went to cafes and visited. So that's what these pieces are. Now this, and see, still messing up because I left the bracelet in the other room. We went to this shop and it is like a you create your own charm bracelet and charm necklace from this shop. And that's what we did for one activity. My three nieces and my sister-in-law, we all did that. And this was their business card. And then this is my ephemera because this is the tag that I had to turn back in to go back and pick up my bracelet once it was ready. Um, we also went to a galleria. To my understanding, there's 3 or 5 different gallerias. We went to the Gallerias Lafayette. This is just the bag I'm gonna keep that I had some goodies in. And I picked this up. Um, they had like a little stationery. It was way more than stationery. I called it knickknacks, but they had a little section. Well, it was a huge section actually, full of knickknacks. And I went through it, of course, and just found some goodies. And this was one of them. And I thought this would be cute to put in my notebook because, of course, I planned to go to Louise Carmen, and I did, in fact, do that. So I had the Louise Carmen in mind when I picked this up and when I picked up the one from the Louvre. And then I'll show you another notebook that I picked up with my Louise Carmen in mind. This is a piece of ephemeral because we went to Cafe Ply. We actually went there twice. The first time we went, it was so crowded they couldn't get us in. It was 6 of us. So we had to make an appointment for another day that week. What is Cafe Ply? I urge you to look it up. And if you ever visit France, I urge you to visit it. It was a cute cafe shop where you wrote letters to yourself. Super cute. And in writing the letter, I know this is in French, but what this is telling you is that in writing the letter, you can pick when it's going to be mailed back to you. Of course, you pay for a fee for that, but you pay for the whole experience that includes everything with the letter writing, and it includes 3 stickers of your choice, and of course, to mail back to yourself. But this is telling you you can mail back to yourself 1 year, 5 years, or 20 years. Funny enough, we all picked 1 year. I was expecting my youngest niece to pick 5, but she picked one as well. And so you pick the date, and there's a big, big wall um, where these envelopes are stored. And so you can see just how many people have experienced this. And it was super, super cute. I also learned that they have some cafes like that in Japan, which is a country I haven't visited yet, but I definitely plan to in the near future if I get to. But yeah, Cafe Ply was cute as it could be. I'll probably share some pictures of it later in another video. But in this video, I just wanted to show you guys some of the things I picked up. I also picked up just more um, postcards, the Eiffel Tower, which was beautiful in real life, and then just a sketched map, excuse me, of the city itself. Excuse me, gorgeous and beautiful. I don't know why when I get on camera, guys, I start having the hiccups and the burping and the. I just apologize if you can hear all of that. And then, of course, the piece de resistance. That's about as much as I can do an accent. When I was in the section of the Galleria, at the section that I called the knickknacks, I came across this moleskin. I know, moleskins hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss. Right now, I've tried about 4 or 5, and they've all been hits. So I picked this one up simply for the Paris theme, of course. It is a ruled notebook. They didn't have my grid. I picked this one up because I knew that I was going to pick up a Louise Carmen. So I did just that. Hopefully, you follow me on Instagram or TikTok where you can see a short little snippet of my in person experience at Louise Carmen. It was everything the girlies say that it is. It was very, very nice. The wait wasn't horrible. I waited about 40 minutes. Really didn't feel like it because I was just squealing and excited, talking to people in line, and it was just nice all around. So it didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm standing in line. Once you got inside, the salespeople were very helpful, very nice, um, patient with you, all the things. I am glad, though, however, that I had most of my mind made up. Now, of course, when it came to the charms, I knew I wasn't going to get many charms because they were expensive, to be honest, to be charms. But I did know what I planned on. I had 2 colors of leather in mind, and I had 2 portfolio colors in mind. So I had most of my choices narrowed down. My experience was not long at all. Of all the covers that they had, the one I had my mind set on wasn't available. So I went with this very neutral, very basic cover, and I'm happy with that. And I ultimately chose the red honore. You guys know I'm a red, black, and white girly. I was debating between a black and a red, and I will probably get a black one later. But that was my debate at the time, was a black and a red. So I did the red and I did the black cord. This was the card that was given to me after I made all of my choices. The lady that helped me, her name was Charlotte. And you had to come back about an hour and a half later. So for me, that was 3:40. I had to come back at 3:40 to pick her up, which I did. But I'm glad she gave me this card to keep. That's going in my journal. This here appears to just be directions on how to change out your cord if need be. I really want to try to keep the sticker. I know that I'm not good at that, especially while I'm on camera. So I think I'm going to leave that alone before I mess it up. But that's what this is. Just wanted you guys to see it. And then on the other side, it's just a pretty picture. And so here she is. Again, she's the red honore. I did not get a charm for the front. I do have a variety of charms to pick from, and I'll pick those up and show you my choices in a second. But I did get charms on the side. I got a Eiffel Tower, of course. I was hoping they had some plain. They only had this one with the bling on it. Not the biggest fan of the bling, but it's okay. I knew I wanted to get an Eiffel Tower to represent this experience and memory. And then I got this small little locket so that I could lock in, as my nieces would say. So inside the Honore, and I know you guys have probably seen many unboxings. It came with two books. I picked the dot grid, and then I picked also what they call the ivory. And then this is my portfolio. Like I said, I had already had in my mind to get one. I knew I wanted one. Not cheap at all, guys. This Joker is almost the same price as the actual leather cover. So that just know that if that's something you're thinking about. But they had a good selection. I wanted the black to be with the red. And so, of course, when I go back and order, not go back to France, but when I go back to order the black one, I will probably do the red portfolio. But I knew that I really wanted one, so I ordered one. And remember, I shouldn't say remember, if you've seen the Honore is the style with the big back pocket. There's a pin loop here. There's also a pin loop on the portfolio. And then my French flag was put at the bottom. And then let me hold this up so you guys can see what I had put on there. I have trust the process. Hopefully you guys can read that. But that's what I went for rather than my name or initials or anything like that. So that's what I ended up choosing. And let me grab my front charm choices right quick so you guys can tell me in the comments what you may think, because these are the ones I already own, so one of these is going to have to go on the front. This is a charm, however, this is green. It's dark, but it is green. So I have that as a choice. I have the Love for Analog from Baumkuchen, and so it's a pencil. I have that as a choice. And then I have a heart with a pearl. That's a choice. And I also have this sun as a choice. I like charms. I look for charms when I'm out. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't focus on Louise Charmin Louise Carmen charms. The ones that laid across here, guys, were like 39 bucks. These two itty bitty charms were 19 euros a piece. That's a lot for these little bitty charms, but I knew what I budgeted for because I wanted all the things in this experience. I didn't want to short myself. I really wanted to just experience it all. So again, I did budget for that. And I budgeted not to get that big one because I knew that those were going to be crazy expensive. I didn't expect that expensive, but I knew I was forewarned going into it. So, yes, I can't wait to get her all set up. I got a couple of things in mind that I already want to do for her. Um, but the experience, like I said, it was great. Um, Standing in line was not long. The people were very nice, very friendly. They do have more than one shop in Paris. So what I did is I got in line at the location I visited, and my two nieces, my two older nieces, were so excited for me. They walked around, which it was like a 15-minute walk away, I think the lady said. But anyway, they walked over to the other shop to see if there was a shorter line or if they were moving quicker. So we kind of tag team the experience as well, which was funny to me. And I appreciated them being just as excited as I was about it. Um, but nonetheless, this is what I ended up with. I'm very, very happy for the purchase and excited about it. Glad I had the opportunity to pick this up in person in France. I can't say that I would have just bought my first one straight offline without seeing this in person. And the reason why I say that is because we know a lot of people are making these and they're making some beautiful leathers. I have two gorgeous ones myself in a trifold just like this, and I'm totally 100% satisfied with those as well. So, had I not been in person for the experience of being in Paris and doing this, honestly, I can't say that I would have just picked this up from online. But again, this is what we do. This is what we love. We're stationary people, and that's just what we do. But that's just Stephanie's 2 cents worth. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me for this quick little haul. I just wanted to jump on and share and let you guys know where I've been. I know it's been a minute since I posted a video, but that's what I've been up to. So please leave me a comment if you have anything to share or ask. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Remember to love on your family. Love them big, guys. And until the next video, take care and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.